G'day everyone, how's it going? My name's Andrew Smith. Just wanted to talk to you for a little while about some documentary films I particularly enjoy. And it's part two of documentary films that I reckon you should probably watch. Other people may disagree, but you know, to them. First film I want to talk about is called The Man Who Sold the World, and it's directed by a guy named Mike Hill, and it's basically about this guy named Steve Rocco who he's basically cited as the guy who started up Big Brother magazine, which without Big Brother there would be no Jackass, and he also was the guy who started up Blind skateboarding and World Industries, and basically it's just a real interesting insight into his life and to what he did. And he was basically the guy who turned street skating from this little sport to this humongous world industry and made a lot of big stars. I don't know, I just think if you're interested in that kind of field, sort of history of skateboarding and stuff, this is definitely for you. Features like Jason Lee and some of the Jackass guys, because they were all involved in that thing, and well, it's just a pretty interesting film. There's a few technical difficulties, which I guess comes from being made by skateboarders, but it's definitely a bit of fun. If you ever get a chance to watch it, definitely watch it. And next, this is Dylan Busy Being Born Again, and it's directed by a guy named Joel Gilbert, and it's basically about Bob Dylan during his Christian years. He released 3 albums, sort of 70s, 80s, and they were basically Christian albums, and it just sort of talks about his journey from the albums before that to where they reckon he left that phase. And it's just a real good insight into the people that were around him at that stage. And if it's something you're interested in, like his Christian albums or whatever were the first albums to ever win him Grammys, and there's something you don't really hear much about. So I guess to me it was a really interesting insight into that particular Bob Dylan phase that not a lot of people will always talk about. Next one I really enjoyed is The King of Kong, which is by Seth Gordon. And this one here is about these guys who take 80s video gaming just so seriously. Like King Kong, the 80s original, or earlier than that, video game, and they just absolutely dominate at it. And it's this really interesting thing where these two guys are kind of battling it out to be the world champion of original Donkey Kong. Now I know what you're saying, calm down Andrew, that's too much information. But honestly, you might look at this and go, that's not for me, but just the story of it all, I think there's something in this film for everyone, and I definitely recommend it. It's great for a laugh, and you'll have some fun. This one's a bit more serious, or not serious, I don't know. It's Tell Them Anything You Want. It's directed by Spike Jonze and Lance Bangs, and Lance Bangs is a documentary filmmaker, probably most famous for he shoots all the behind the scenes on the Jackass films, which Spike Jonze produces, and there's that whole thing. And it's about Maurice Sendak, and Maurice Sendak is the guy pictured there who wrote Where the Wild Things Are. So this is I think the first book he got published, or the second, or one of his very early books, and just sort of a history of his life. And they sort of made this in the lead up to the film Where the Wild Things Are that Spike Jonze directed. You know, if you're interested in that sort of thing, if you want to know who the guy who wrote Where the Wild Things Are is, it's this guy. It's not, they parodied him once in The Simpsons, and I don't think it's entirely accurate, but we all have some fun. And yeah, I just think it's very good. It's a shorter documentary. I think it's only a 45-minute documentary as opposed to a feature. But yeah, put it on your pile. If you ever see it, definitely don't run away from it. Bit of a sad story though, I think, his life. Yeah. Lil Wayne, The Carter, directed by, and you'll have to forgive me for this, Adam Barlow-Louch. I'm not too sure, but basically this guy who directed bombed the system, got to follow around Lil Wayne for a big chunk of his tour before he released the Carter 3. And it's just a real insight into who Lil Wayne is, his lifestyle, and just, yeah, what makes him tick. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I was very interested when I saw this. He's a fascinating guy, and I think the documentary serves him well. At the start of this documentary, there's a big title thing that says, at one point during production, Lil Wayne said, "You're not allowed to film anymore, I don't want this project to be done." But he must have signed something saying the director can have the footage he'd already shot, or something like that, and maybe they'd said it at the start. And so basically Lil Wayne, this film didn't have Lil Wayne's blessing, which it gives you, I guess, a little bit more insight into Lil Wayne, that he probably doesn't like seeing himself in reality. I don't know, but either way, if you like Lil Wayne, if you like the music, if you like rap culture, if you hate rap culture, this probably won't do much to sway you. But if you like it and you love Lil Wayne, definitely try it out. Don't let this cover art, which I'm not too keen on, sway you. And lastly, for this video, I thought I would talk about an album which isn't, I'd say DVD, sorry, which isn't necessarily a documentary, but it has lots of documentaries, and it's the CKY Infiltrate, Destroy, Rebuild video album, which was a DVD of video clips for the band CKY, directed by Bam Margera and Joey Franz, who kind of helped make them. And for each video, which there are 11 or so, 12 videos, there are 11 making ofs, which all go for about half an hour. And they're just a really good or great insight into how to make sometimes a very low budget music video, or how to make a very good high budget music video, and just some of the cheats you can do, some of the insights into the songs, the band members, just all the different things. There's always lots of fun happening because it's the CKY crew, and that's basically it for documentaries that I'm a fan of at the moment. I'll make another one soon. There's definitely lots and lots of documentaries out there that I think everyone should give a go. They're not just for assignments when you need to watch them to get some information. So definitely get out there and buy or rent them or do whatever it is you do. Anyways, I'm Andrew Smith. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great night.